What's up, people? Today I am finally reviewing Mission Impossible Fallout, and I got that coming up for you next! So, Mission Impossible Fallout just came out in theaters. I know that I haven't actually gotten through all of the Mission Impossible movies in 4K, but I figured that I would get this review out to you guys, and I felt like that was more important than actually doing these in sequential order. So, here it is. This is actually the sixth Mission Impossible movie, and really, it is the best. Now, this was directed by Christopher McQuarrie once again. He is the first director to direct two Mission Impossible films, and it stars, again, Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, and then it co-stars Alec Baldwin and Angela Bassett. Now, right off the top, I'm going to say that I am not going into this movie's plot a lot. I'm going to stay really base level just because there are a whole lot of spoilers that really get into what the crux of this movie is actually about. And I don't want to spoil that for you guys, so I'm just going to stick real base level. And that is that Ethan Hunt has screwed up on a job. You know, he has been haunted by the women of his past in this movie, and he just has other things on his mind. So Ethan decides to let go of some uranium in exchange for his crew's life during one of their jobs. And because of that, he suffers the fallout, and really, he spends this whole entire movie atoning for that and paying for the consequences and understanding what those consequences are and learning more about himself and the kind of person that he is. I feel like this movie wants to go deep into who Ethan Hunt is as a character, and I definitely I feel like it is about time for that. They have always referenced how he is one to always go rogue, and he is just a risk taker. And really, that's what we get from the Ethan Hunt character. But here, I feel like this movie wants to go larger into that, and really, what makes Ethan Hunt who he is, and what are his morals, and how far will he go for the job. And that is something that will come up again and again here. I just feel like that is a really strong arc for the character of Ethan Hunt. Now, on top of that, to really set up a contrast to who Ethan Hunt is, we have August Walker. That is Henry Cavill's character here, and this character really has no morals. He will do whatever it takes to finish his job. And seeing just how these characters bounce off of each other while they are doing this job, because Ethan is stuck working with this guy, I feel like it is a very good way to contrast just how different Ethan is from other spies out there. And Henry Cavill definitely does a really good job here. He is the brute. He doesn't really want to think about things. He just wants to punch his way through things. And that is such a really interesting character trait to pair with Ethan, who is more of a methodical planner and is always one step ahead of the person that he's up against, and really that is how he stays on top. And to get him working with this brute of a guy, it's a very, very, very good contrast. And their discussions and their topics on how they deal with this, it's really good. Christopher McQuarrie has really constructed great characters this time around, and I feel like this script is even better than Rogue Nation was. And then you have the evolution of some other characters where, of course, Alec Baldwin's character, you knew that he was going to fit into the head of the Impossible Missions Force and the IMF. That's what the Possible Missions Force is, and really, that is what he does here. But it also says, really why he did that, and there is just a great scene in here where he displays that for you. And then you get a really great character arc for Benji. He wants to be out in the field. He doesn't want to be just an IT guy. He wants to actually get in on the action, and this is, in his character arc, is largely doing that and how he deals with that. And I just feel like that sets him up for some really interesting scenes later on in the movie. This movie is so well constructed. And I really, 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 truly believe that. And besides the characters here, the action is unbelievable. This is a movie that I will say that if you've seen the trailers, you haven't seen nothing. Because every single action scene in this movie blew me away. And even though you might have seen some of the bathroom scene, and you might have seen some of the scene in the helicopter stunt, and where Tom Cruise is running around the rooftops, you really haven't seen the entire action scene. And just the way that every action scene is constructed in this movie has such momentum and intensity. Literally, it does not stop. This is the most intense Mission Impossible movie that they have made so far. And man, I know that I thought this at the time that Rogue Nation came out, but I don't know how they are going to top this, if they are going to top this. And they also bring back lots of things from other Mission Impossible films besides from Mission Impossible 2. I don't really feel like they want to even acknowledge that movie existed. There is a callback to Mission Impossible 1 involving... There is a callback to the first Mission Impossible, and it is subtle, but a way that a character acts in this movie made me think of it, and then she dropped a line that I was like, yes, she is actually related to that person in the first Mission Impossible movie. I won't give it away, but it's really cool to see, and it's not like you have to figure it out, but it's just a cool Easter egg if you figure it out. And then, of course, you have Benji coming back from the third film, and Ving Rhames, his character, has been in almost all of the Mission Impossible movies. And really, you have Rebecca Ferguson coming back from Rogue Nation, and she is great here. She is complex. I feel like either DC or Marvel has to snag her up for some kick-ass role because she's awesome. And there is some scene in this movie where she has an action scene with the villain here, and she kicks his ass and climbs up to him and does a flip on him like a spider monkey. She is so agile, and oh man, I really love the action that she has in this movie, and I love her conflict because it is very much carried over from Rogue Nation. Guys, if you haven't already been able to tell, I loved this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of this summer, and if it wasn't for Infinity War, I would say that this is the absolute best. I thought long and hard about this, and I definitely have to give this a 10 out of 10. And that is just because I couldn't really find any great flaws in this movie, and I really couldn't see them topping this. And hey, if that's the case, It's a 10 out of 10. So I do have to continue the Mission Impossible series. I left off of Mission Impossible 3, so next will be Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and then I'll do Rogue Nation. And so if you guys are excited about that and excited about all of the things that I have coming up for you guys in October, there is a whole slew of things. Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe, and yeah. You will get notified when those videos come out. And as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. And I will see all of you next time.